What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, I want to talk about DEC and my little conspiracy theory for DEC. Now, I'm just going to put this all on the front end. I'm going to share with you guys a couple of data points, but I have really nothing backing this up outside of that. It's more so just a feeling, and I would love to get your thoughts on this to either shut it down or go down the rabbit hole with me on these conspiracy theories, or at least this specific conspiracy theory around DEC, and help me figure out what the motivation or reasoning would be. Now, here's the thing. We have seen DEC well below peg for, I think, almost 3 months at this point. It happened around March when we made a lot of those changes and the Gladiator cards were burned for DEC and all that, right? So we saw massive inflation in the amount of DEC that was being minted. It wasn't coming from SPS burning, right, at that time. But here's the crazy thing, right? So this is 120 days. And we can see that at least for more than the past 2 months, DEC has been staying around this 5.7 million circulation, right? Circulating supply. I'm sorry, 5.7 billion. Now, you see this dip here, which is actually not even a real dip in terms of the historical, because this is when the grain LP went live, and all of the DEC being put in the grain LP was just not accounted for in this chart, right? So you can see it was immediately corrected after it was found out. And again, the history just wasn't updated. So but you can assume that this has just been around this 5.7 billion amount for the entire time. Now, here's the thing. I'm looking at SPS burning, and I'm like, okay, at least for the last 2 months, how much SPS have we burned? And you can see we went from 58.7 million in the middle of April to now the middle of June, right? This is 2 months of activity here, to 59.8. We've burned 1.1 million SPS. And if my math is correct, I mean, 1.1 million SPS is not a lot. And considering the fact that, like, SPS has been below a penny for a part of that, right? At least for the last couple of days or weeks here, we just haven't been burning. So I think the obvious answer to the question, where's all this DEC coming from, is probably from cards, right? There's a lot of cards being burned. But the question is why? I'm just trying to figure out why. The only thing that I can come to is if this truly is an exit from many of the larger bot farms that are holding on to a lot of these reward cards, knowing that they're never going to be able to sell them, right? Like, I think the minimum you can sell them for is like a penny, and then you're just competing with whatever the floor is and hoping that there are buyers when truly there aren't buyers. I do think that it could just be liquidation from many of these top accounts. Now, I don't have the data to back that up. I was trying to dig into, the printing and distribution, right? But I have not been tracking the amount of cards being burned, especially the reward cards. So if somebody else has been tracking this and can verify, or at least add to my conspiracy theory here, I would appreciate it. But, you know, we're at 10.6 million cards burned right now. I know that there have been a lot of cards being been burned lately. But even still, like, look at this, and obviously this is a little bit off topic, but like Ever Hungry Skull, we've burned 700,000 copies of, but there's still 3.6 million out there, 3.6 million BCX. If you go to the Pellicors, I mean, we've burned 700,000 of like the Venari Heatsmith, our Gargoyle Lion, Pellicor Deceiver, and there's still over 7 million. Sorry, we burned 700,000, but there's still over 7 million BCX left. And that's just kind of regular foil. So there's a lot to go. But what makes this fascinating for me is that, and this is why I'm not necessarily going all in on the, somebody's just trying to liquidate theory. It's the fact that this is such a stable number here. Like, it's almost as if they're not really caring about what the price of DEC is, right? Because DEC has been kind of all over the place over the last 2 months. You can see we're almost at 90% of peg even just 2 months ago. But then obviously with the recent market turn, everything's been down and to the right. But it's the supply that they're focusing on, as if they don't want the supply to get lower than 5.7 billion. And I don't know why that would be. If you were just trying to liquidate, you'd be trying to get whatever it is you can. The supply wouldn't matter to you. You would just, you would burn all these cards for DEC, and you would just have it there ready to go. Maybe, right? I don't know. Maybe they're renting it out or something like that, but renting out the cards, I mean, and therefore just waiting. But it's like, then you're kind of slowing us down from getting to peg two. You get what I'm saying? Where it's just like, why, if you're trying to sell for a higher value, then you would want us to be getting back up to peg so that you could then burn the cards and sell that DEC for significantly higher. I mean, going from 680 Splintoshis up to, 800 Splintoshis even is a significant move, right? That's more than 10%. As close to 20%, if or 15% maybe, right? Like it's not insignificant in terms of like the amount that they'd be able to get. So I'm just, again, those are the data points that I'm throwing there. I've just been looking at this chart, and it's just odd that it's like they'll go and print just the right amount to keep us at this 5.7 billion range. Never going too far above it, never going too far below it. I mean, again, you could follow along this line for a while and see that we're always within just a couple of million away from that amount. So I don't know what the cause of this is, but it has been something that I've been tracking for a bit and figured I would just throw it out here in a video in case anybody else had some kind of insight as to why or what is going on, or why whatever's going on is occurring the way that it's occurring. But, my thought process would be over the past 60 days, we would have burned, if we were still going with like about 1 million burned per day. And I know that's probably come down quite a bit considering that the market activity hasn't been as high. But even if we were around that area, right, that'd be 60 million DEC. We shouldn't be at 5.7 billion. We should be at 5.64 billion, right? But somebody's just keeping us at that level. And I don't know who it is. And unfortunately, I don't think it's SPS, because if we were burning a lot of SPS at this price right now, that'd actually be pretty fantastic. But, it is what it is. So that is all I have for you guys in this video. Again, just trying to put on my tinfoil hat here and see if I can find any other folks with their tinfoil hats on that could help me figure out why this would be the case. And if you've been tracking it and could share any insights, I would really, really appreciate it. But that is all I have for you guys in this video. I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.